I felt like I missed something. I really needed to find something to do. Then I said, I think there is a space that, there is a market for an indoor play area. So my motivation, my inspiration are my kids. I think both of them are important, structured and unstructured play. There was a child who came in and was very erratic, and I understand that it is because of the amount of time the child was spending on the gadgets. Believe in yourself and go for it, and don't worry about what the world.
The sponsor for this episode is a social media agency called Paperplay. Paperplay as a company understand your requirement, strategize your social media play, help you with the social media calendar, complete account management, and finally analyze the analytics. So if you're an entrepreneur, reach out to Paperplay for your social media needs. More details in the description below.
In Kannada, the word Adda means a place where people get together and mingle and have a good time. Our today's speaker is Deepti, who has created this kind of a space for children. It's called Kydz Adda. So let us hear more from her stories and her journey so far. Hi Deepti, welcome to the Talk of Town podcast. We are very happy that you were able to do this.
Hi Raksha, thank you for having me here. I'm very glad to be here.
So I think I just want to begin by asking, how has 2025 been so far?
2025 has been good, relatively quiet, because both my sons are in teens and they have their exams. So I consciously ensured that, I don't keep myself too occupied.
Yes, mom duties.
Yes.
Yes. So just an introduction about you would be that you have created a very, very entertaining and a very notable space called Kydz Adda. It has existed for quite some time in Banshankari. At least, the passerbys will know that and be familiar with it. But before we get into that space and the journey, how is it growing up? I think you also come from a South Indian family. How was it growing up? How was your childhood? And what is the kind of upbringing you had?
I had a very fun upbringing. As much as we are from, a South Indian family, my parents were very forward thinking. So they were they encouraged us in terms of our career, especially my dad and mom. They always said, you have to study, you have to do something for yourself. You should never depend on anybody. So that was instilled in us for a very long time. And it's not just my parents. I think even the extended family that I come from, they're all like that. So it really was a very good childhood. They were very open in terms of encouraging me to develop my social skills. My dad would take me to a lot of talks to understand, where does the future go, what kind of subjects you need to take, what are your interests. So really helped me with all of that. So I was quite independent. I always got to do what I wanted to do under the guidance of my parents. And it was a very pleasant experience, actually.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So just from a educational standpoint, what is it that you pursued, and how was it for you in terms of just choosing the career path and things like that?
At the time that we were studying, IT was the boom.
Yeah.
And like everybody, I was very curious as well. What is it? Why, what is the internet? What are the languages? So I kind of got very interested in it. And like I said, my dad was always encouraging, and I joined some computer classes and everything. And then I said, no, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
And I did my BSc from BSc Electronics and Computers. But I always wanted to go abroad and study. I wanted to live independently and study. So after my BSc, I went to Melbourne and I did my master's in computer science from Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. After that, I got my first job when I was 22. And it was my dream company, and was really glad to get into it. And worked for Philip Morris for 5 years. And then I worked for various other companies in Melbourne itself. as an IT professional.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So from there to opening Kydz Adda,
Yep.
I think it's a pretty different shift just because, again, going back to how South Indian families are,
Yep.
not being biased, but then the focus is on education. The focus is on education and then probably eventually getting employed. But from there to taking a shift into entrepreneurship, into owning something that is so niche also.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that journey and how did it happen?
My husband and I met in Melbourne, and he was studying as well. Then, after we got married, we decided to settle there for a couple of years, and then the idea was to come back. So, when my kids were 5 and 3 years old, after 12 years in Melbourne, we came back, and Bangalore was a new place for me because I'm not from Bangalore. I'm from Hyderabad originally.
Okay.
So he got into the family business, but I wanted to do something of my own. But at the same time, my kids were very young. I wanted to spend time with them because for them, Bangalore was new as well. The language was new. The place was new. The transition, I wanted to give some time for that transition and help them with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt that something was missing. You know, when you've been working forever, like I started working when I was 22, and all throughout my time I was working, I felt like I missed something. I really needed to find something to do. And I didn't want to get into a corporate at that time because they were very young.
Yeah.
I needed that flexibility of being there for them, but at the same time doing something on my own. So, and like every other country abroad, Melbourne had a lot of parks, and I would take my children every evening to play physically, get onto the slides, go on the swings or whatever. I wanted to continue that here, and I did take them to the parks locally, but I was not very happy with the condition of the way the things were being maintained. Then came the time to celebrate my son's birthday. I looked around for places, but I didn't find any kid-friendly places. They were all, party halls.
Yeah.
You book a party hall, you call somebody to host some games, and that's where the party is. But then it becomes a very adult-centric party.
Yes.
So keeping all this in mind, and it took me about one and a half years of research. I would go to cafes, I would go to any place that had some activity for kids, libraries. Then I said, I think there is a space that, there is a market for an indoor play area. And that's where the whole ideation started. So my motivation, my inspiration are my kids.
Yeah.
behind my business.
Superb.
Yeah.
Superb. I think also it is, I have visited Kydz Adda.
Nice.
And I think the first noticeable factor is that it's extremely clean.
Thank you.
And as parents, that's the first thing you look for.
Yeah.
And obviously, as soon as I saw that, I knew that a parent or a mom is behind this.
Yeah.
So it's a really wonderful place.
Thank you.
Now, you started about a decade back.
Yes, 11 years this April.
Yeah, that's a really long time. And I just feel like back then it was a very new concept.
Yeah.
People did not know of indoor spaces, especially in a place like Bangalore where outdoors are so beautiful because the weather is great.
Yeah.
Now, how was it accepted when you opened this space? How did parents or just generally your market react to it?
Like you said, it was a new concept. There was a lot of educating that happened with my customers, with the parents who would come in. I remember initially when we started, even the people that are working with me, were working with me at that time, they didn't understand the concept because everyone would either work at a play school or a daycare.
Yeah.
Especially when kids are involved.
Yes.
So it took me a lot of time to first train my staff as well. Then when people came in, I would stand at the reception and tell them, this is not a daycare. And people would ask me, is this a daycare? Is it a playgroup? Do you have a school? How are the classes? I said, no, this is just an indoor play area. So I had to explain how it all works. And it took off very well because it was a new concept, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of parents at that time kind of related to what I was going through as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So it was easier as a mother to understand what my kids needed, and at the same time what other mothers would also
Yeah.
or parents would also need.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think safety also is a very big factor because
Yes.
you're in a closed space.
Yeah.
Your children can run around how
Yeah.
much ever
Yeah.
and yet be there. So I think that was also a very comforting factor for the parents.
Yes. Yes.
So now tell us from where you were to
Mhm.
where you are today.
Okay.
How has the journey been, and what are some of the things that Kydz Adda focuses on from a developmental standpoint?
So the whole idea was physical play, promoting physical play. So when some parents came and asked me, why don't you include arcade games? I was very against it because the ideology behind Kidsadda is let yourself loose. Just go and do what you want in a
Yeah.
safe environment.
Yeah.
That was the ideology. So I really didn't want to bring any gadgets in the space at all. And as a parent, you know that physical activity really helps the child in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it does very seamlessly. You don't need to, if you take your child away from study for an hour to play and bring them back, they are they're more fresh.
Yes.
They can absorb things better. It helps in the holistic development of the child, just free play.
Yeah.
So that was the whole idea. So when I was doing my business plan, I said, okay, there is free play. That is what I want to concentrate on. But at the same time, I wanted to give some space to the parents to get some me time. So it was like, okay, my children are playing in a safe environment. I need some time to myself as well. Otherwise, parents don't get a break from their children, especially toddlers. They don't get a break at all.
Absolutely.
So I said, okay, now let's make a little cafe where parents can sit. Maybe they can catch up with relatives or friends. They can work, have some me time, read a book, do whatever you want. So created a cafe. And the idea kind of built on. And then I said, okay, now we need a space for kids to celebrate their birthdays as well. So let's make a little, party hall where they can come and celebrate their birthdays. And that was done. I also wanted to do a lot of activities for children because I know the importance of children doing art or craft or music, attending storytelling, or various activities. So I created a little space within Kydz Adda for other activities as well. So it kind of built on, again, based on my experience. And I think what we would like to be called as like a one-stop solution for parents with young children. We have a little library as well for children with a few books. So they want to read, they can borrow books. We have a little drawing corner, which generally nobody goes to because they're very attracted to the play area. So we have, we want to encourage children in doing everything that they want to do apart from using gadgets.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Superb. So what is your age group that you are targeting here?
From babies to about 10 to 12, we have a height limit because sometimes even a 12-year-old can be very tall.
Yeah.
The reason we put a height limit is because of the equipment. We don't want them to get hurt.
Got it. So other than what facilities you have, what are some of the activities and classes you run at Kydz Adda?
So we do various things. We have camps, summer camps and winter camps, Christmas camps, the Sarah camps, where we collaborate with experts. We don't have in-house. We have a few in-house teachers who are good with art and craft, but we like to get people who are, professionals in their spaces, like storytellers. We do a lot of storytelling workshops. We did one workshop. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the organization, but they got these little bugs for children to look at the different bugs and identify them and teach them the life of a bug. Yeah. We did puppetry. With again collaborating with other puppeteers in Bangalore. So and the collaboration helps because we're getting experts in. and that is what we wanted to do also. We don't want to do everything. You
Yeah.
can't do everything
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's good, and it gives me an opportunity to network and connect with other experts in the field as well.
Right. So now Kydz Adda is one is free play, and then you also have organized workshops and
Yeah, so
things like
there's
that.
multiple verticals:
Mm.
free play, cafe, library, party hall, workshops.
Super. So, Deepti, like from what you said, I take away that there's one side of play and then there is developmental, and you're very clear that you didn't want to include any kind of screen or video gaming into, you said no to arcade gaming.
Yeah.
So now we know that we are in this era where there is a very big pandemic of screen addiction. We
Yeah.
have kids, and any parent you speak to, they are talking about the screen time that you give to your children.
Yeah.
Has that impacted you right now? Because I think post COVID, kids really got used to that screen culture.
Yeah.
So has it affected you from a business standpoint?
I don't think it has, because
Okay.
the parents who come to Kidsadda are also very conscious about it.
Mm.
They bring them to such places because they know the importance of physical play.
Yeah.
So they make an effort. They make an effort to go out with their children. They make an effort to ensure that they get their physical play.
Okay.
Even everything has become so easy nowadays. Everything is available at a click of a finger. The e-commerce, your 10-minute delivery. But as adults, you need to make that conscious choice. Do you want everything delivered home
Yeah.
on your couch? Or do you want to take your kids out, explore the world?
Yeah.
Get them to engage with physical, spaces.
Yeah.
Because that really counts. It is little things that kind of help the child develop.
I think it's the idea of parenting, and that matters finally.
Yeah. But then you will see that there are, even in restaurants, if you go, there are parents who will give the child the screen to watch so that they can eat in peace. I think as long as it is a conscious choice, and you know how much time you're giving them, I mean, face it, we have to adapt, we have to change.
Correct.
We have to accept the way the world is moving towards today. But at the same time, we should not get addicted. There is a very fine line.
Yeah. Now, just talking about children's psychology, and you have watched and been with kids for over a decade now, with your own kids and with kids at Kydz Adda. Now, there are thought processes where they say that it should be constructive. It should, like when they play, there's a certain structured way of doing things, and then there is also this free play and unstructured play that you do at Kydz Adda.
Yeah.
Now, how important is it? Because I think myself as a parent, constantly you're thinking whether the time is utilized in the most productive manner or not. Now, productivity for children can be a little bit of a dicey situation. So from your experience, how has this unstructured play or free play, how do you think impacts children, and how important is it?
I think it is very important. And as children, we all grew up with unstructured play. I think both of them are important, structured and unstructured play. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, but I would say you should have a balance of everything. Because imagine a child walking into a play area or a park, and there you see he is ready to jump into the ball pit or jump on the trampoline or come down the slide. The adrenaline rush that it gives a child to do that is very different from structured play. Structured play is more about productivity in terms of, okay, I have learned how to put a block over the other, or how to do certain things. But this is you being yourself. You exploring your inner self. You spending time with yourself. And I think that is something that even adults should do. Give some time to yourself to play. Take up a sport. Just go and play, because that really helps not just children, even adults, I think.
Yeah, because I think we are in this rut of
race.
am I spending this time being productive.
Yeah.
And I think maybe somewhere we need to break free,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So what about just the way children are? I'll tell you where this is coming from.
Okay.
Today you talk to kids, they don't sound like their age. Suddenly they are talking big things, they're so mature.
Yeah.
And you feel like, okay, is that really a child? So that scenario shift has come. It could be because of various things. It could be evolution, it could be what they're exposed to,
Yeah.
or parenting styles have shifted.
True.
But what has been your experience from a business standpoint again, where you're seeing the same set of audience, but have you seen the kind of crowd that comes in, like the same age group, but then you see them behaving differently? Has that happened?
There are certain scenarios where we do see some changes in some children. There was a child who came in and was very erratic, and I understand that it is because of the amount of time the child was spending on the gadgets. So the parents consciously got them to play so that they can keep them away from the gadgets. So yes, like you said, it is evolution, but at the same time, I have seen a shift, but not as much. Like I said, going back to the point that I was coming, people who come have made that conscious decision that my child should get some physical play every day, or once a week or something. So yeah, there is a shift. General behavior of children is shifted.
Yeah.
There is more stubbornness.
Yeah.
They're more demanding. They question a lot. Questioning is good, but the kind of questions, sometimes you wonder, oh my God, are you 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's fascinating how things have changed from 10 years ago to today. And sometimes it becomes unrelatable.
Yes.
And then we have to come up with ideas on how to deal with some children. But most of the time the parents are there and they know their children.
Yeah.
So it's not like they would leave them there and go away. So they're there, they know how to deal with their children, and they do a fantastic job. Yeah, it is a challenging time that we are in.
Yeah, but I somewhere, I think when they play, I think then everyone's on ground zero. All of them
Yes.
behave the same.
Yes,
I
all of
think,
them behave.
right?
Yes, and they learn a lot also while playing. You're playing with other group of kids whom you don't know. Other kids come and they all share the same space. You learn so many little things.
Yeah.
You learn to share. You learn to give space to the others. You learn to wait
Yeah.
for other person to finish.
Yeah.
There's so many little things that you learn when you are left in a free play environment.
Right. Right. So that's because I think child psychology and related to any topic related to children is a very interesting thing, just given that there are so many changes that's happening. So as part of what you do you also like have in-house sort of consulting that, if anybody needs any help, will you be able to direct them to people in child psychology? Or
We don't have an expertise in that field, but there are a lot of people that we collaborate with, like I
Yes.
told you.
Yes.
And we have had child psychologists who have come and approached us as well, because they wanted the space also and the audience. We are not equipped for that. Frankly, we are not equipped for that. So we pass on the lead of the
Yes,
people
yes,
that
that's
we,
what I meant.
yeah, we
Yeah.
pass on the lead.
Yeah, I think with all the mental health awareness
Yes.
and everything, you are really doing a wonderful job where you've cut out screen
Yeah.
and you're allowing kids to play. Now, just going back to your entrepreneurial journey,
yeah.
right? So, what was that one big challenge that you faced when you started the business? And if anything, what as a woman, was there anything specific that you had to encounter?
A lot, not one. A lot. Like I said, there are a lot of challenges. First is I've never done a business before. Like, it was my first venture. It was my first venture. It was in a new place. I didn't know the language, as in the local language.
Yeah.
As much as in Bangalore, you can, get away speaking any language. Um, I didn't know the market.
Mm.
Um, I didn't know where to get the equipment from as much as I had the idea. So there were a lot of challenges. And I was very passionate about it. So I kind of had to, face those challenges and ensure that I get what I wanted to do. Yeah, so those were the challenges. And once you start a business, I was always working, right, in a corporate. So I know what I was going to do. What is my role? What are my responsibilities? And I fulfill that.
Yeah.
Once you start a business, it's different. You're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
You are doing marketing one day. You're looking into the books, finances one day. Because we have a cafe, you are looking at the menu one day. You're
Yes.
curating something. There's so many hats that you're wearing. You're training the staff one day. So you're swapping hats every day
Yes.
based on the situation that comes. That was a very big learning.
Mm.
And I did get nervous initially because I was not prepared for it.
Yeah.
But it was a very good experience, and I don't think I would have it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a woman, also, it was great. I had support from my family. They accepted the idea because it's a new concept.
Yes.
To
yes.
have that support was
Yes.
very important.
Absolutely.
And it is very capital intensive.
Yes.
So they were happy. They supported me both financially and morally. And they still support me, and it is really good. And I think you need to have, again, that understanding in the family that, okay, she is working, but at the same time, I know how to balance things.
Yeah.
Living abroad, there's a lot of things you learn because we've never had help.
Exactly.
We've never had help, especially when my two boys were born. Of course, parents come, they stay for some time and help, but once they go away, you're doing everything yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And somebody has to earn. So I was at home juggling multiple things with the children, and I think that gave me an experience of handling various things as well, because I need to plan my day.
Yeah.
Until today, I plan my day. I write it down. I have a book beside my bed, and I write down everything that I want to do. I wake up in the morning, and you plan and you ensure that you give it enough time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always planned in such a way that I have given time to my business. I have given time at home as well. So I'm very close to my kids. I'm very close to my boys. We talk everything. So I think that is a relationship that I've built over the years.
Nice.
So as a woman, it was easy because my family supported me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you have to do the juggling of multiple things, and that came with experience.
Yes, I think it's a true blessing because as a woman, there is some amount of stigma, especially
Yes.
while you're doing business. But I think communication is key. Involving them in the process is so important. But just the nature of business that you do can get quite risky also, because you're dealing with little children.
Yes.
It's not a school where they sit down, they are running around.
Yes.
So how did you tackle that issue? Because you are answerable to parents, and I've seen your setup. I know that it's mostly child protected. They don't bump their heads against there are no sharp objects or pointy things, but it is still risky.
It is.
So how did you mitigate that, and what are some of the things you follow even till date?
Even in the safest of environments, if the child is hyperactive,
Yeah.
they are prone to get hurt. Okay. They can, a little thing like bumping into each other's heads,
Right.
it happens.
Yeah.
And it would happen everywhere, not just at a play area, but even if you have gone for a birthday party or at a school, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
As a parent, we need to understand that it is part of growing up.
Yeah.
And that is how children also learn to deal with all kinds of challenges, and they learn that, okay, I have to be careful next time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've had issues couple of times earlier where, there will be incidents, and we've had them. We have a first aid kit And the place we spoke to there is a clinic close by. We spoke to the doctor and the nurse, and we said, if there is anything, we will come to you straight. And we had an understanding with them. So there were couple, I think once or twice, where we had to take a child because he bumped his head and whatever. But I think that kind of also gives an assurance to the parents that yes, they're prepared.
Yeah.
They're prepared for something, that if something goes wrong.
Right.
And it hasn't happened very often.
Okay.
Yeah, it hasn't happened too many times, but we have to be careful.
Yes.
As a business, we have to be careful.
Absolutely. Touch wood, I think.
Yeah.
Let nothing happen. But now, like you rightly said, it's a very capital intensive business that you do.
Yep.
Now, if somebody is aspiring to set up something similar or want to be in this industry, what is the kind of investment and what are the kind of margins that one can think about?
It depends. It depends. When we started, I'll tell you an interesting story about when I started. I just wanted to do something, right? My numbers didn't involve a lot of parties. As much as we had a place for parties, my experience in Melbourne for a birthday party was the parent leaves the children there and the parents leave. Okay? So the host is taking care of 20 kids, and there is a little room, and they're all served a cake, a sandwich, or something very kid friendly. Kid friendly. And the parent would come back and pick up the child, or they will be around the vicinity.
Right.
So that was my idea, because I had not experienced much here. So the first party that we booked was for 100 people, and we wanted a full-fledged menu from North Indian to South Indian to everything. And I was like, what do I do? I'm not prepared for this.
Okay.
And luckily, my husband is into hospitality. He runs a hotel on Kanakpura Road called Toast on Terrace. So he said, don't worry, we'll have it under control. Let's do this. And then we sat up all night trying to figure out what to do.
My goodness. Okay.
It was an experience, and it was fun. So you learn in the job. So even if somebody wants to set up a business, a lot of people call me and ask me, how much is it to set it up? How do you run it? So I talk to them, but it is not something that I can impart. It comes while you are in it.
Yeah.
You grow in it.
Yeah.
Right? And in terms of investment, again, coming back to your question, it depends on how big you want it. How much money you have, how big a setup do you want it, what do you want to do, what are the demographics of the area where you are going to set it up, how many children are there, how many young families are there, what is the spending power. So there is a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of research that goes into it.
Got it. So based on how you want to do it, your investment will.
Yes. So yeah, we have a franchisee model in place for different sizes of the play area.
Okay.
We were meant to open one in 2020. We found a property. It was meant to be a franchisee, and we got a property. We got the equipment, but then COVID happened. Yeah.
Okay.
So that didn't go forward after that. But yeah, it depends on what scenario it is. It's not it's not like it works for everybody in the way that it worked for me.
Right. Got it. So right now you do 2 centers, right?
2 centers.
You do this. So how is it to navigate as an entrepreneur? I'm sure it's demanding of your time.
Yep.
So you're always torn between family with your 2 boys, being teenagers, versus taking business decisions. You have employees. So you're always torn between choosing. So how do you manage that?
I have a very supportive husband. And he is involved in the business as well.
Okay.
It was an understanding between us that we will ensure that the boys get the attention that they should.
Yeah.
We shouldn't compromise on bringing up the boys and manage it. So even if it means we are falling short, it's okay. But our priority were the boys. So he supports me a lot.
Okay.
He supports me a lot, and because he has a hotel, he took care of the food side of things. I take care of the operation side of things. So we have our, tasks nicely split. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yep.
But for women who are, juggling and doing it all, what would your advice be?
Plan your day, plan
Right.
your week, plan your month. And I think that's worked for me brilliantly, because depending on the amount of work that you need to do, you know what time you need to wake up. You need to know, you're pretty much planning every hour of the day
And backtrack it.
and backtrack it.
Right.
And I literally tick it off as in when I finish my tasks. So I don't think I could have done what I'm doing without planning.
Super.
So kids would go to school. As soon as they go to school, I would leave. I would come back at 3:30, pick them
Before they
up
come,
before they
right.
come. Then spend some time with them, take them to their classes, come back. And then my husband would go check on things because I was at home. And sometimes somebody else would pick them up. It happens, things will not go as per plan.
Yeah.
But then it shouldn't affect you. Nothing will go as per plan.
Yeah.
As much as you plan it, a lot of things will, just pop up, and you just have to be there, and you just have to do things. You just have to find what you can do to solve that problem at that time.
Got it.
You cannot anticipate things.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And in terms of setting up such a space itself, how many employees do you have, and how did that progression happen? Because I know when you start out, you are nervous to hire and all of that. So can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
I knew how many people I needed at the play area to look after the kids. Different parts like the library or the reception and the cafe. So I knew how many I needed, and my husband was very helpful because he was in the business, in the hospitality business. So we got some staff initially, but as in when we want more staff, we figured out from where to get extra staff for the days that we are going to be very busy. It's all part of the learning again.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're too many, sometimes they're too less,
Yeah.
depending on the day or the occasion. And then initially it was very difficult because we were like, oh, I thought so many were going to be enough. And then it was not enough. If they were not enough, then we had to call people in. And so we figured it out while doing things. As of now, we have each center, we have about 15 each,
Okay.
around 15.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there is some floating staff as well, who part-time.
Right. I'll tell you where this is coming from, right?
Yep.
As a woman entrepreneur, especially, there is this innate want to control everything. Not control in a wrong way, but you want to be able to do everything, and delegation becomes a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
So I think more and more women should understand that asking for help or hiring someone for that role is very important.
Correct.
You can't do it all.
Yeah.
And I think having the right people for the right role is so important.
Yeah.
Because when I walked into your center, I could see that each of them were playing their roles with so much integrity.
Yeah.
And that really appealed to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were cleaning constantly. They were really nice. So that's where that question came from about hiring,
Yep.
because especially for women, I just
Yep.
believe that, maybe they will not do the work as well as I would,
Yes.
that feeling should
Yep.
go away in
Yes.
some sense.
That is it. I think initially you should be very involved, but the whole culture of your establishment reflects on who you are
Yeah.
and what you are.
Yeah.
I don't micromanage. And I think that gives them the flexibility and also the understanding that, okay, they're not questioning me, but this is my duty, so I have to do it.
Right. Right.
There are times when I have to micromanage depending on the person. So it's not about, and they're all different personalities, right? So it depends. You have to understand the person and you have to deal with each person based on how they are.
Right. Right.
And as an entrepreneur, you need to develop that skill.
Yeah.
Also, you need to have the patience to listen to them. You need to have the patience to understand where they're coming from, and also try to be nice. Um, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who display their authority
Yeah.
very obviously. We are not like that.
Hmm.
We try to engage people like our staff into all the decisions that we make for the business as well.
Right. Right.
At least the core stuff. If we were to change the cafe menu, we will sit with them. So it's not that I will make a menu and say this is what you need to do.
Hmm.
We will sit with them and we will curate them. We will discuss the pricing with them. So they're involved in the process.
Right.
So it makes a lot of difference to gain their trust. And also they are the ones who are facing the customer.
Yes. Yes.
So they know it better,
Yeah.
you know, and we need to respect that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Deepti, what is your one piece of advice for budding entrepreneurs? Because you've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now.
Mhm.
So what is that one key advice you would give?
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Be passionate about what you're doing. At the end of the day, it is your interest, your passion, your pace. Don't worry about what people are saying because people will talk.
Yeah.
They will have 1,000 advices. They will say, why did you do it this way? Why couldn't you do it that way? But it is you. You know the idea that is forming in your head.
Yeah.
So only you can deal with it.
Right.
So believe in yourself and go for it. And don't worry about what the world says.
Absolutely. I think also you tend to pit yourself against someone else.
Yep.
You'll see someone else doing something very differently.
Yep.
And then you're thinking, okay, why am I not doing it? I think
Correct.
that's so apt what you said.
Yeah.
So now, having spent already so many years doing what you do, what's the next step for Kydz Adda?
I've always wanted to expand, and that is where, like I said, we had a franchisee that didn't go through because of COVID. We want to expand, but we are open for franchisees. We are open for joint ventures. We are open for any kind of collaboration that will help us take the brand forward. Because just me and my husband would not be able to manage everything, and we want to have that work-life balance as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So having more people on board and involved in the business, if we were to expand, will be really good, and we are okay for that. So we are seeking out people who will be interested to collaborate with us, join with us for the next one.
Superb. So if anyone's interested, how do they get in touch with you?
They can send an email. They can just let somebody at the a common number is there. I can leave a number in the comment
Sure.
section as well, and they can get in touch with me.
Also, I think I know from conversations I've had with you that giving back to the society is also something that
Yep.
you do. So can you talk a little bit about that?
We do a lot of events as part of Kydz Adda. So Dasera holidays, we do Dasera camp and Diwali event, Halloween event, Christmas event. So we do a lot of events. As part of that events, we did a lot of old books collection, clothes collection, and we would pass it on to the NGOs,
Right.
the organizations
Right.
who need it. We still get a lot of inquiries from NGOs asking for things that they need, and we reach out to a few customers whom we know that they will be happy to contribute. And then collection happens at Kydz Adda, and then we take the responsibility of delivering it.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. And I think it's a nice way to build that
Yes.
sort of culture around
Yes.
kids as well.
Yes.
And I think you also do a lot of outreach programs
Yeah.
in collaboration with schools.
Yes, yes. So we do a lot of field trips. A lot of schools come into Kidsadda, bring their children for play and for their outing. And it's nice to collaborate with schools because I really
Yeah.
enjoy working with schools and just to see how the kids are enjoying it. When the kids come in with their friends, it's a different feel altogether.
Yeah.
So they really enjoy the space when they come with their group of friends.
Yes. Yes.
So and it is fun. Yeah.
Superb. So, Deepti, I want to end with saying thank you so much because I think any facilitating any sort of things for primary development of children, it actually takes you a longer way.
Yeah.
Because their formative years, what happens then has a lot of meaning when they, become adults.
Correct.
And you are doing your part in sort of grooming these children. And thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing, what your journey and your experiences with us. So really looking forward to seeing what Kydz Adda has to offer.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. It was like a little flashback of
Yeah.
my life as well, what we have done, and it is good to talk about it. We don't get a lot of opportunities to talk
Yeah.
about it. As an entrepreneur, we are always behind the scenes, and it is great to share the journey with people, and yeah, always happy to for people to reach out to me if they need anything or talk to me or um, in any way that I can help.
Sure. Thank you so much. And really grateful that you could make it to our podcast.
Thank you, Raksha. Thank you very much.
The sponsor for this episode is a social media agency called Paperplay. Paperplay as a company understand your requirement, strategize your social media play, help you with the social media calendar, complete account management, and finally analyze the analytics. So if you're an entrepreneur, reach out to Paperplay for your social media needs. More details in the description below.